Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Anyline Anytime. My name is Marc Babin, and welcome to the Anyline headquarters in beautiful Vienna. Our guest today on this beautiful December day needs no introduction. From the top of the world and famous for working one day a year, please welcome the one and only Father Christmas, St. Nicholas, St. Nick, Kris Kringle, or as many of us simply call him, Santa Claus. It's my honor to have you here today, Santa. Welcome to Anyline.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I wish it was only one day a year that I worked. It's
Of course.
great to have the time this year to visit some of my favorite partners and suppliers. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, it's great to have you, as I mentioned, and we'll get more into why you're able to visit so many partners and supporters this year. Again, thank you for being here, and we're looking forward to this discussion.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about the big day. Now, obviously, we as mortals, we certainly underestimate the capacity and the size of the task that you have to do. But it certainly is much bigger than we could ever think, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no. So don't get me wrong. It's the most wonderful time of the year, but logistically, it's an absolute nightmare. I mean, just think of everything that has to take place all year, and then that all comes together in a single night. We got to order the raw materials, we got to manage shipments, we have millions of building and manufacturing processes, and then of course those final months of preparation, packaging, processing the presents. We got to get them to the right homes. We got to get them to the right children. So I'm really thankful for modern technology. You can't imagine the stress of it all in the past, but that's all in the past.
Yeah, we've certainly moved on to new ways, which we'll speak about in a bit, but we can certainly respect that it's much more than any task we could ever imagine here in the mortal world, and what you're able to accomplish year on year is incredible. So we certainly appreciate that. You have no room for failure or waste of time. And although you may have your magic time bending abilities, which again, we won't understand, and I've tried to get the secrets out of you, but you're not willing to share. So while you have all that, help is always appreciated for you, right? Anyone or any technology or any process that can be optimized for you is certainly appreciated.
Yeah, so it really is many moving parts, many more than you could probably comprehend. But thanks to continuously changing technology, things have really improved. A great example is working with you at Anyline here. It's made my job so much more manageable, and I can now finally trust the data that we're capturing throughout the whole process, right, throughout the whole year. Our elves are working much more efficiently than ever, and basically it's your scanning solution that's given us mobility and the agility to do that. And here's a little secret for all the children listening, and keep this between us. But Santa loves data.
I could just hear our CEO perk up when you said data. As much as we love data, we can appreciate that you do as well. That's brilliant. So let's move on to an interesting topic. And you spoke to me about this before we went on air, and I had no idea. But aside from Rudolph and his red nose, the other reindeer, while they're roaming around the North Pole throughout the year, they're quite indistinguishable, right? Not only from the reindeer you need, that we all know, but between the other reindeer of the North Pole, they're indistinguishable, right?
Yeah, right. So you can't tell them apart. They roam all over the place, and so what we did is we put those little cattle tags on them. You know, we made them candy cane and red because we have to, but it's our brand, as it were. But now our elves, instead of running around and calling their names and maybe having them answer, maybe having them not answer, they can use their phones to scan the tags and just get to them quickly, right? So each of those reindeer, they're specialized reindeer, right? They may look like the other ones, but they got to have special diets. They got to have special quarters. They have all these special needs that we need to make sure that we're meeting. And so the elves can do that now. They can work really quickly.
And they can really just keep their mobile devices on them, and wherever the reindeer may be, they can really identify them quickly.
That's exactly it, yeah.
Wow. So I couldn't imagine how that would have been done before.
It was a lot of running around. It was just a lot of running around. And the North Pole it's not a small place.
Not the warmest either.
No, but you get used to it.
Of course. Absolutely. Well, sticking with the identification issues, I'd love to talk about the famous naughty or nice list. Now, we grew up fearing this list, always wanting to be on the nice side.
I will tell you if you're on it or not.
Great. Well, after this, I'll get the lowdown on the Anyline team, and I can pass some notes around. But I'd love to talk about the logistics issue around this. Identifying billions of children around the world must be a massive headache.
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine we've got billions of children in the world, right? As you just said, and one misspelled name can cause just huge issues all the way up our supply chain. So all the way up the production chain, everything, all the way up and down. And so we need to make sure that the names on there are correct. We've avoided that in the past, and in fact, there's a few famous stories about that. But I got to admit, the pressure is on. We don't want to miss a single name, and the population's constantly growing. Right?
Absolutely, and perhaps maybe some of those stories of yours ended up in movies in the past, but
no comment.
No comment. The press office said, don't talk about the movies. That North Pole press office, very difficult to get around. Well, I love this point, and we did have a phone call from one of your head elves, Candy Cane. She phoned in earlier to talk about this issue with the naughty or nice
Candy
list.
called. That's nice.
Yeah, she was lovely to talk to. She definitely has that North Pole accent.
Yeah, she's a good one.
So we'll definitely summarize the points when she's done, but here's what Candy Cane had to say.
If a center would have to make a list and check it twice to know who has been naughty or nice. But using Anyline scanning means we can take the guesswork out of it, saving valuable time before the Christmas time chime. And now, we've made the naughty or nice list completely digital, something we all find to be quite magical.
That's wonderful. A little bit hard to understand in some portions, but really a great quote, and really from the actual workers themselves. Really sound like it's made it magical.
Hear that, though? Santa's digital now. We're not playing around anymore.
No more pen and paper for Santa Claus. That's great. Well, I'm glad she could give us that. It really seems like it's made a big difference, not only for you from a head of operations perspective, but for the ones managing the individual teams. Going digital has been a big game changer.
It has, yeah. So we went digital over the course of the last year, and it's been great. It's been absolutely great.
Well, we're certainly glad we can help with that as much as we can. So let's jump to the big day. Everything's coming together. All the packages and logistics of everything being produced is done. You're loading things up. All the lists are checked twice, although maybe you don't have to do it twice anymore because
we do it twice.
Good to know.
The check is quicker.
Yes. Doesn't take nearly as much time, which is why you have time to do these appearances down.
Exactly, yeah. So all we have to do, run a phone over it. That's all.
Which you could literally do from here, which is brilliant.
I can do it from here. I can exactly do it from here.
So once everything comes together and you've left the North Pole and you're on the move, now you go to the most remote places in the world. You're traveling at the speed of light around the world to do everything. How do you manage all that data on the go?
Well, as you can imagine, so we're flying up there on our sleigh. The sleigh's gotten a bit bigger than what you're probably used to seeing. So and you really don't have a stable internet connection, right? So it's not only the distance from the ground; it's everywhere, right? Most of the world is ocean. So so luckily for me, all of my applications are supported by you and your team at Anyline. And your scanning works offline. So it's completely normal for me to be preparing, a delivery and to need to scan some names and I got to make sure every child gets the right things, the right present.
Most important.
Yeah, I can't make any mistakes. And so I don't need a data connection, right? I can just pull out my phone, my device, and just scan and be on my merry way.
So really the ability to be able to do everything offline and not have to rely on an internet connection enables you to do whatever needs doing in emergency situations or perhaps fixing issues on the go. You can do that while you're flying over the Pacific. It doesn't matter.
exactly. I don't need any of that connection stuff. I just need a phone.
Well, that's it's great to hear that we've enabled that ability and been able to help you in that capacity, lower that stress level as much as possible during the big day or the big night, which is coming up very soon, and we're all very excited. So it's good to know that you're able to check things on the fly. So that's really good to know.
It's great for me. It's great for me, so I can just pull this out and get updates.
Well, it certainly sounds like you have everything running as an optimized process, probably as good as you've ever had it. And as the years develop, and as hopefully as our technologies can support you in the future, that will become more optimized as processes perhaps get more complex. Our CEO, Lucas, did want to send a message to you as well today. So he did have a quote he wanted me to share. He wanted to say that we're delighted to be working with Santa Claus to optimize his deliveries on Christmas Eve. The children of the world can sleep tight, knowing that every present from St. Nick will be safely delivered. And of course, his last line, I hope this means that we're all on the nice list this year.
Most of you are, yeah.
Most of us. This is interesting. I can't wait for this breakdown after the call. Once we go off air, we're going to speak about this. Thank you very much. So that was great to have from Lucas. And yeah, as I said, it's a great partnership to have with you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So it's great to visit some of my best supporting partners during the big day, or before the big day, I should say. The partners are supporting me during the big day. It's been a challenging year for everyone, and we just want to make sure that the holiday season brings the joy that it should this year. So it's more important than ever to do that this year, right? And having partners that help us do that help take these complex tasks and just make them simpler and give us the data that we need is absolutely amazing. As I said before, I can always see what's going on back in the North Pole. I can always adjust to it, so I can actually get a chance to come over here and to visit you guys. Right? Although we're not that far away from the North Pole these days, I see.
With globalization, it's certainly much easier to get around. You're probably the only one traveling this year.
Well,
now that I think about it.
I have a different way of traveling.
That's true. It's a self-quarantine, self-isolation. It's as good as it can get this year.
Pretty much. I don't really have to pass through all the things that others do.
Absolutely. And of course, you are above us. You are non-mortal. You are the big man. So that's great. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to visit us. We really appreciate being able to work with you, and to have you here at the Anyline headquarters means a great deal. Of course, best of luck. Obviously, the big day is just a few nights away, so wishing you the best of luck, and we wish you a very Merry Christmas.
We don't really need luck, right? We got everything sorted out, but thank you for having me, and yeah, you too have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Where'd he go? And just like that, again, thank you guys all so very much for joining on this episode. It's been a great pleasure to have Santa Claus himself in studio to talk about so much that we didn't understand about the big day. So look forward to another episode next week, of course. We're actually going to be looking at 2020 in review, some of the many highlights that we can discuss and talk about in that episode. So that'll be coming next week. Until then, as always, stay happy, stay healthy. And from all of us at Anyline, wishing you a very Merry Christmas wherever in the world you may be. Until next time, goodbye.